Winnie Johnson, the mother of Moore's murder victim Keith Bennett, has died after a long illness. She was 78 and had been suffering from cancer. Her son was 12 years old when he was kidnapped and murdered by Ian Brady and Myra Hindley 48 years ago. They buried his body somewhere on Saddleworth Moor, but it was never found. Her death comes a day after police were investigating the possibility that Brady revealed the location of the makeshift grave to a mental health advocate. John Ainley is the Johnson family lawyer.
An individual with his kind of psychology, his kind of pathology, actually does rely on an awful lot. And to not actually have Winnie as some kind of person who is in need of information from him does actually disempower him to some degree.
Former Barclays boss Bob Diamond says he strongly challenges some assertions made about evidence he gave to MPs over the LIBOR rate fixing scandal. He released a statement after committee chair Andrew Tyree accused him of failing to provide a full and frank account of what happened at the bank when he appeared before them last month. The Treasury Select Committee has called the bank's behaviour disgraceful and damaging to the UK's reputation.
It's clear that the Financial Services Authority went into Barclays and said they were very unhappy with the way Barclays was being run and the management style. When we asked Bob Diamond about that, frankly, the answers he gave would have left one with the impression that this was all in the normal run of things, that any bank might have a visit like that from the FSA.
In Syria, President Bashar al-Assad's forces have been using snipers and air power to hold back rebels in the capital and the country's second city. This amateur video purports to show government snipers in Damascus. Meanwhile, in Aleppo, Syrian jets have continued to strike residential suburbs. It comes as the United Nations estimates the number of refugees who fled the violence has surged to more than 170,000. Police in Wolverhampton have launched a murder inquiry into the death of a pensioner who collapsed after being conned by people posing as water board officials. 90-year-old Hester Mottershed died in hospital this morning after being taken ill at her home in Wolverhampton yesterday afternoon. Officers are trying to trace 3 offenders who searched her home for valuables. Superintendent Mark Payne is from West Midlands Police.
She was clearly very distressed. She's a 90-year-old lady. I can think of very few circumstances that could be any more distressing than having 3 people in your house searching while you're in there. She was extremely distressed. Clearly, as soon as the men left, she rang the police. By the time the police got here, she was clearly in difficulties, and we believe that she subsequently died as a result of a stroke.
Family and friends of Claire Squires, who died during this year's London Marathon, have taken part in a fundraising event set up in her memory. Claire was running for the Samaritans when she collapsed just a mile away from the finish line. More than 80,000 people raised £1.1 million for her charity after her death. Today was the hottest day of the year so far, with most of the UK enjoying temperatures in the high 20s. At Cavendish in Suffolk, temperatures soared to 31.7 degrees Celsius. Well, that eclipsed the previous high this year of 31.4 degrees at the Olympic Park in London on July 25th. It was a tad cooler in parts of Scotland, the North Midlands and southwest England, though, with showers for the unlucky few. But the good news is the sun is forecast to be back again tomorrow.